This video here that you're about to see is access to a private one-to-one coaching call that I had with a coaching client. So you can see the types of things that we go over regarding email deliverability, script writing, how to find intent triggers for your campaigns, and anything cold email related. This is someone who you may be in this position where you're just looking to get started in the cold email space. You have too much expertise, and I go A to Z. It's a full, 45-minute session. And go over everything needed to get you up to speed with running your first successful cold email campaign. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Also, if you haven't already, click the link below in the description to join the free school community where I'll be posting more stuff just like this. And just quickly break this down.
Yeah.
So really I see outreach as three parts to this. Okay. First one is the infra or the infrastructure. Really what this is like a series of email accounts. Okay. So email accounts or LinkedIn. You can also do this through Facebook, Instagram. You can do outreach through pretty much any platform, but the infrastructure is basically the ability to send at mass at scale, right? So the way we would set up this infrastructure, let's say, for example, what I would typically do when creating an outreach campaign just from scratch is reverse engineer our metrics, right? Similar to ads, really. Like, let's figure out, okay, I want to sign 5 deals this month, right? I would probably need to take, let's say, 20 calls to do that. I probably need to book 25, taking into consideration show rate. To do this, I probably need to get about 75 people actually interested. To do that, I probably need to get about 200 replies in total, assuming that this percentage is going to be the amount that are actually interested in that. And to do this, I might need to send, let's say, 4,000 emails.
Yeah.
Right. So this is how we reverse engineer the metrics, very similar to ads. But the way we create this input is through using a series of email accounts and domains. And forgive me if I'm going too basic, just let me know, and I can go to some stuff that's a bit more complex. But what you would want to do is create a series of domains: domain 1, domain 2, domain 3. Right. So let's take, for example, my main domain is just acquired.com.
Yeah.
I don't want to use this for any outreach. Because the likelihood of it landing in spam is higher. And once it does land in spam, it's kind of an irreversible process. Not 100%, but it's very, very difficult to make this perform well again. So my domain 1 could be like goacquired.com. Domain 2 could be like tryacquired.com. Domain 3 could be helloacquired.com. What I'd want to do is set up.
Would you always go like a .com, or would you sometimes like have a like .uk or .agency and stuff as well? Or
you can, but you're going to get best results from going .com. Like, there's no technical problem with using a .online or . It's just a credibility thing and reputation. Like, .coms have always performed better for me. I just use .com, no .org, no .co, etc. One technical thing is to avoid a hyphen in your domains actually for cold email sending. So if it was like go-acquired.com, this is actually more likely to land in spam.
Right. Okay.
Right. So you don't want a hyphen in any of your emails or any of your domains. Sorry.
Okay.
And what we do here. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, dude. You may be explaining this, but are these like individual purchases where I'm going on like Namecheap or GoDaddy? Because I came across something. Is it like Zapmail or something recently where you can purchase like a number of domains at once or something? Like, what's the difference there?
So the way I personally would do this, I would just do this all through Instantly, or not Instagram, Instantly.
Yeah.
They have something called a done for you setup. So you can do this like one for one. But if I just wanted to, let's say, go to my email accounts in Instantly, I would get these all set up here with this done for you email setup.
Right.
It used to be back in the day, when I very first started this, you have to create the domains on GoDaddy and create the email accounts in Gmail or Outlook and then hook them up here. Long gone are those days. Now you just get Instantly to set everything up for you, because you have to, like, when I've done that, you have to worry about DNS settings, the technical infrastructure. Like, it's a lot more technical. Now really is as simple as just clicking on this, putting in my domain. I set some of these up recently.
Right, okay, well.
Let's just put in acquired.com, and then it will give me a bunch of suggestions. So I literally just do boom, 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 boom. Let's just pick 5 of those, for example. $15 per domain, one-time fee. Go next, and it's created all these accounts for me. So if I wanted, how many accounts is this? So I think that was 5 times 5, about 25 email accounts. I can just literally press
Wow.
place order and they're set up.
Wow. Okay.
So it
And
makes it substantially quicker.
is instantly like your I've seen a lot of your stuff as well. So I assume like do you use Lemlist? Because I'm aware of their multi-channel stuff as well. Like they can do LinkedIn and stuff and instantly
Yeah.
have or
I used to use Lemlist. Probably I stopped using them around 2 years ago. When Instantly came out on the market, in my opinion, they're the best. Smart Lead
okay.
are the best for a lead gen agency, so it works the best if you're managing multiple clients through your cold email.
Okay.
If you're not doing that, then I highly recommend Instantly. They have like basically the best technical team, or in my opinion, of any cold email team out there.
Yeah.
They've got the biggest team of developers, most skilled in this, very, very good support. And this is like purely what they focus on. So
Yeah.
the way it's going now is cold emails get very technical, as you can probably see, like it's around how to create the domains, the email accounts you need to use. It's getting very difficult to actually avoid landing in spam. And
Yeah.
half of it, in fact, probably most of it has to do with the software that you're using, how
Right.
they send their emails, like what sort of sending patterns they use. They basically on Instantly side, they will have built-in features that will completely randomize the timing in between the emails to make it appear more human, right? For
Right.
example, like if I just sent an email every 5 minutes for the full
Yeah.
day, the servers would figure out that okay, this is probably like being automated, and it will start to
Yeah.
penalize that email account, right? So Instantly have the best features in terms of making it seem the most human and getting the best deliverability results.
Okay.
If you want to do multi-channel, we'll touch on that. I would personally just automate it in the back end. I would always use Instantly to send cold emails. I just think it's the best platform to do so. And if you wanted to do something where you engaged with everyone who clicked on a link in one of your follow-up emails or opened the email or responded, then I would just use a simple Zapier, Make, or NAN automation
Yeah.
to then push them into a LinkedIn sending tool, such as HeyReach. That's the one that I use for
Yeah.
LinkedIn,
Hey, Rich.
right?
Yeah.
And just get them to talk to each other. Yes, it's like beneficial to have Lemlist where everything is in one place, but in my opinion, Lemlist just isn't, it's not the best tool in the market for cold email.
Yeah. Okay.
Instantly will be.
Yeah. Hey, Rich. That's okay. I was
Yeah.
aware of I trialed Dripify, I think it was
Yeah.
before as well. That was okay. But Hey, Rich. Yeah. Okay. Wicked.
HeyReach is the
Perfect.
go-to one. It used to be Dripify, but HeyReach is the best now. You can send it emails. You can do more volume,
Nice.
safer, and more scalable as well. But
Nice.
yeah, ultimately the email accounts, like you can see here, are just
Yeah.
variations. So I've got Harry at Harry.latos at Latos at, right? What I would recommend is three per domain. So you see instantly here, it's created five for me. I would just go and delete the bottom two at each domain. So I recommend three.
Yeah.
The reason being, if this domain starts to go to spam, so we'll have account one, account two, account three. If this domain starts to go to spam for whatever reason, maybe it's got a really high spam rate. For example, people are marking it as spam.
Yeah.
Then if this domain goes or one of these email accounts goes, all of them will go under this domain.
Right.
So if you had one domain hosting 20 email accounts and one of those email accounts start to go to spam, all of them will.
Okay. So when you're saying domain one, domain two, so domain one would be like go acquired, domain two would be try acquired.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's account one, two, three?
So that's really the name of the email. So you see here, this is the
Ah,
domain,
so yeah, so
my
it's like
acquired, my
Harry
acquired.
at or
It's
Harry, yeah, dot, yeah,
exactly.
okay, yeah, perfect,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you'd want about three of those per domain. This is
right,
just to
yeah,
spread risk and minimize cost,
yeah,
mixture of
perfect.
both of those things. So yeah, it
And
would
so,
look like this.
and just to reiterate, you're saying if one of those accounts goes into spam, it's pretty much like a virus where it can just then
Go
spread across the
across the
domain.
whole domain. So that's
Yeah,
why you wouldn't want more than three per domain,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You don't also want one because you have to pay for every domain by itself.
yeah,
So this is like the best risk versus reward ratio you're going to get is three email accounts per domain.
yeah. That's brilliant.
What you want as well, and instantly, is you can create a forwarding domain. So a forwarding domain is, let's say I want them all to redirect to my main website. If someone was to
Yeah,
receive an email from me, Harry at myacquired.com, they'll go, okay, myacquired seems interesting. Let's check out the website, copy and paste it in. And if we have this forwarding domain set up, it will then redirect them to my main website.
brilliant.
So you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about creating landing pages or websites for all of these other domains. They all just redirect to the main one.
Yeah. Nice.
So it looks the
Yeah, I like
best.
that.
With each of these email accounts, the maximum sending, it's not an actual limit in terms of you can send more than this, but I would highly recommend not going above this limit of 30 emails per day
Okay.
per account, right? So let's say you want to
Yeah.
send 300 emails per day, you would need 10 accounts to do so.
Yeah, because you're doing 90 per cluster in. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So just that's once again just a general rule of thumb in terms of if you send more than that, you start to get more likely to be picked up by spam.
Yeah. And you know
Once
those
you,
numbers that
yep,
you
sorry.
did like the sorry, the numbers you did there, like the 2025, is that like that seems like a pretty good um like
The
conversion, is it?
typical conversion would probably be looking at just like complete industry average is probably going to be about 2% reply rate,
Okay.
2 to 3% reply rate, around a 30% positive reply rate. Let's say
Okay.
20 to 30% being pessimistic. So these are people that are interested. Then we
Yeah.
typically see about 40 to 50% booking rate. So
Yeah.
40 to 50% of those people actually book on. Probably a 75% show up rate. Then let's say a 20% close rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are pretty much typical sort of metrics you can expect with a good campaign.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And are you like if someone does pick up, I'm probably getting ahead of myself because you're going to cover it, but if someone does pick up a positive response, are you waiting for an email response, or are you then using like Clay or like AI to scrape their data and then just get them on the phone as soon as possible, or like it?
100%.
Okay.
100%. So there's actually a bit past this, which is really response handling,
Yeah.
right? I'll get onto that.
Yeah.
In fact, we'll go
I'll
over
show
it
them
now. We'll
both.
go over it now just because it is really valuable. But yeah, like 4 steps really. Infrastructure, which we've discussed, leads, where we actually get the leads from. So the reason why this is so good, in my opinion, cold outreach is these numbers, like these metrics are good, but what the main thing is it basically costs nothing to get these 4,000 leads. Super,
Yeah.
super cheap. Even if we're using tools like Clay, which is what I'd recommend, it's very cheap to do so.
Okay.
Copy we'll go over, but then response handling. So the best workflow, let's say we get a positive response from a client.
Yeah.
We've said, hey, notice you're similar to, or notice you're currently running an offer on school. I currently work with the likes of James Blackwell, blah, 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 blah. We've helped them do this outcome. Would love to show you, I've recorded you a quick 2-minute video going over exactly how I think you could increase your front end sales by 32% over the next 90 days. Do you mind if I send it over? Right?
Yeah.
That's an example of a script we could send. Then they say, yeah, sure, like send it over, or yes, I'm interested, depending on what script we're using. Then the best thing that we can do is use an automation to basically enrich this lead in
Yeah.
Clay to find the mobile number.
Okay.
Okay. And
So
then once we have
you're waiting
that,
for a positive response to then, and is what's reading that automation like, is that like an NA10 agent or something that reads it to say this is a positive response, or is that just like a manual process?
so this is automated within Instantly itself. So if I go to my
Okay, wow,
inbox,
fucking hell.
Uh, let's just look at some replies. Like I got a couple positive replies yesterday. I'm actually targeting logistics companies for my new campaign. This person just said, identify yourself, your company, your webpage, right? So they're not interested, but they're just after information. So this
Yeah.
is marked it as interested. In this case, like I probably would have called them. I just don't have any capacity to call people right now. But and this person saying, send me an example. Cool. Right. So this obviously marks it as interested. So I haven't done anything to mark these. These are just been sent into my inbox, being marked
Yeah.
already. And then what you can do from there is have like a make or NAN or even Zapier workflow to say when instantly marks the lead as interested, this will automatically
Yeah.
ping something. Take this data, so all the data with regards to the lead. I think I can see them potentially. Where can I see the lead? There we go, here. So all of this information, right? I can push this all into Clay.
Yeah.
It will most likely just be the LinkedIn URL. And
Yeah.
then once that's pushed into Clay, then it can run an enrichment to find their number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or even better, what I tend to do is just get instantly to send an instant Slack message into our Slack channel with their
Yeah.
response. Because a lot of the time, this doesn't happen all the time, but let's say for this lead, I've got their number in the signature.
Yeah.
So I just call
Yeah.
them straight away. So it's like if you can't find a number, and you can start to create stuff as well, where it's like if you put a message into Slack, for example, if the number isn't in their signature, you can put a message into Slack, and then it will run the automation to find the number. So you don't have to use
Yeah.
it for every single one, but basically
Yeah.
find their number, give them a call as soon as possible. That's going to be the highest converting way to do it to get the highest booking rate.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nice.
all of this can be like pretty much fully automated
Yeah.
within Instantly.
To be honest, like NA, I'm aware of Make. I've used Zapier a lot. A lot of my shit is just like lead ops in, notify Slack channel. SDR obviously
Yeah.
does it, like new payments, Zap to Slack. So
Yeah.
I've done Zapier, but NA10, like I'm just kind of I'm such a noob with that. Like I definitely need to.
It's to be honest, you like I personally think a lot of it is like shiny object syndrome with NAN. People love
Right.
to get involved in it because they're like, damn, I've never seen something this complex. The truth is you can probably do something that does exactly the same function with a couple steps in Zapier or make like people do it
Yeah.
and I've obviously done a couple times myself. People do this just to create a fancy workflow to put it on LinkedIn, get a bunch of comments on like a lead magnet, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that honestly I think is the main purpose of half of these NAM workflows, just to get interest from other people.
Yeah.
You can
Comment
always do it more
GPT for
simply.
this work thread
Exactly.
or whatever. Yeah.
That is
Okay.
genuinely, I believe, the biggest use for a bunch of these NAM workflows is just
Yeah.
to trigger shiny object syndrome in people,
Because
to be honest.
I've been watching a load of Luke Alexander stuff, and I nearly
Hmm.
kind of booked something in with him as well, because I was like, fucking hell, like what I'm doing right now is I just use ChatGPT or Claude to create a prompt and say this is going to be a prompt for Zapier, like
Yeah,
create
yeah,
it, and then I
sure.
just put the prompt into Zapier and use their Copilot to or whatever it is to help build the automation, just because I'm lazy doing it
Yeah,
myself.
yeah, yeah.
Because just like what he shares and what I've seen other people share with N8N, I'm like, fucking hell, this looks like Arabic. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
I mean,
just
there's some very, very, very good specific use cases of NAN. And like when we go on to, I'll go on to the list building stuff in a minute, building leads of lists of leads, sorry, on Clay, you can just do this stuff like with more control and cheaper
yeah,
using NAN. So there are
yeah,
very, very good comprehensive workflows you can build, but most of them for the use case of like these sorts of things, you don't need to create a crazy workflow
okay,
for it. Yeah.
wicked.
So only like if you really want to be personalizing your copy based off certain stuff and do it in a very cheap way compared to just using Clay, then you'd need to probably build it yourself on NAN or
Yeah,
something.
okay,
Right.
perfect.
But a lot of this can be done elsewhere as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for response handling. You can
Yeah,
also instantly get AI to reply to the emails as well. Uh, I personally don't do it. It popped up there. I
yeah,
don't know if you saw it. It has an AI agent. I always get a
yeah,
way better response rate just writing it manually myself if I'm going to write a response to the email. But you can also get AI to draft up a response for you using their AI agent. Don't think it costs much, like probably in the region of $30-40 a month to have that running.
and
So
and
it'd be worth
for
it.
all this to work, am I just paying for the Supersonic subscription of $97, or do I need like the hyper credits $200
No,
subscription a month?
it's just the hyper growth plan, $97 a month for instantly.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah. You
wicked.
won't actually need the credits are really just for verification, which I personally do
Yeah,
outside of Instantly, and
yeah,
building leads, which I also do outside of Instantly. So you don't really
okay,
need the credits for anything. So the
nice.
main, so once we've got all of that, I'll go into the leads and the copy. These are like obviously one of the two most important things to actually do in the outreach. Is build
Yeah,
good lead lists and write good copy. There's a few different ways you can build your lead lists. I use the likes of Clay, Hollow.
yeah,
These are the main ones, to be honest, for me, right? Hollow is just basically a key to very, very cheap data. Like if you want to do a very large outreach campaign and run it very cheap, even with AI personalization, if you get your data from Apollo, you can use tools like they're called Ample Leads to get Apollo data for very, very cheap. Like
okay,
they've just increased their price a little bit actually, but still, you can get for two $2.50 per 1,000 leads.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Right, so super cheap. So you get 4,000 people to email for $10. Very, very cheap way of doing it. The more advanced and the best way, in my opinion, is to use the likes of Clay to do this.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Clay, but really the main benefit around this is finding intent-based leads. This is really what I use Clay
Okay.
for. Right? So intent-based. So instead of just scraping based off your ICP fit, so let's say you want to target, I don't know, owners of companies making over $1 million a year annually, that could be high net worth individuals, that could be ready to make investments.
Yeah.
This would actually, you could use Clay to find people who are actually either looking or have a higher propensity to invest potentially,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different ways you'd want to map that out. But for example, you could even find like patterns amongst investors using Clay. Like you could find companies or things that have recently been invested in and find who the investors are, their investment trends, investment patterns, and look into that and say, hey, I noticed you've been investing in these sorts of projects. This, could
Okay.
also be something that's of interest. You could go that way. Can also, I'm just trying to think in terms of the investment one that you mentioned, but you can, yeah, pretty much use any of this data that you can find online about funding rounds, people hiring for certain positions, news, posts on LinkedIn, like anything that would indicate a need for your service, I
Yeah.
would start with that because it's just going to break through so much of the noise.
So take the because the sales one I like I get it'd be like company size turnover I suppose like
Hmm.
recently hired sales people or whatever it may be,
Hmm.
right? From the investment side, like what would an intent based parameter be there? Like would it again just be directors of companies with this head count, this turnover, but like what else could you add to that that would be like intent based? Is it they've posted about something recently? Like I'm just trying to
But
think of what that would look like.
potentially they posted about something recently, potentially that they've made other investments.
Okay. Okay.
I think you could use Clay to find that out. Um,
Yeah, because
so
my
your
thought
investment would be a
process
real
would
estate investment?
yeah, so it'd just be someone that's basically got access to capital and they want to put that money into real estate, whether it's in UK or Dubai. I've got quite a bit of stock in Dubai at this moment in time, to be honest.
Sure.
Um, So yeah, so it'd be identifying high net worths. It'd be, I mean, a lot of people do invest through UK limited companies. So
Hmm.
I suppose there's my thought process is identifying people through titles. Like I said, dental practice
Yeah.
owners, doctors, solicitors. That's quite an easy one because you'd imagine you can kind of gauge their salary. Another way would be SIC codes on company
Yeah.
house,
Yeah.
and then saying, I don't know if I could do this, but it'd be the like people that have had companies with that SIC code over X amount of time, or that have recently been
Sure.
set up, or that hold X amount of assets. I don't know how specific could be. I'd have to think, but yeah, I'm basically targeting people high net worths, or even just like people that have saved up a bit of capital and they want to put it into a property.
Sure. 100%. I think, yeah, going off the job title could be definitely a good one there,
Yeah,
in terms of actually finding people who are in the um, specific positions that would actually have more likelihood to have more capital to deploy.
yeah,
I'm looking at what Claude is saying as well here, because this is the way I build all of my campaigns. Figure out
yeah,
what we need to do. So let's say the aim here is to create intent signals to find people that would be interested in making real estate investments. This is then what I'd look at. So I just gave it a short prompt, intent signals. I'd see which ones of these are possible within Clay. But recent real estate transactions listed as an investor in property records or SEC
yeah.
filings.
It's US, but yeah, that's fine because it just means they'd be equivalent to UK, right? It'd be
Yeah,
HMRC as opposed to SEC or
sure,
whatever, or
sure.
FCA. If they're in fact they wouldn't be on the FCA that because I have to be FCA, so it wouldn't be for them.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, one that could
Yeah,
be
that
interesting is also people that are following
follow, yeah,
property leaders. You can scrape a bunch
100%.
of those who've, on LinkedIn, for example, property publications, property events is a good one. Like also webinars and events, you can scrape lists of attendees of events. I imagine
Yeah.
people who are attending UK property events could be potentially a good fit there to do direct outreach to. Um,
People like insert like competitors pages, for example, like North Property
yes,
Group, ERE Property Group, Select Property Group, God, the RW Invest Property Group, like people that like their pages, if that can like that data alone would be valuable because that's like intent
for sure.
based. Okay, I get it now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can absolutely find that. So yeah, Claude has given us a pretty good plan of how we could do that. But I think usually
Nice.
out of all these, probably two or three would be viable. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think events could be a good one. Follow a thought leader or engaging with the thought leaders posts. You can even go to the posts of these thought leaders and scrape the comments. You can do that
Okay.
using tools like Phantom Buster is one that I use to
Yeah.
do that. But yeah, I think that's probably how you would do that. And then you'd use Clay for a lot of this data to enrich it, to find, say, for example, you've got a list of event attendees, got their
Yeah.
names. Clay would help you find their website, email address, all of this information all in one place for you.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so that could be good. I'm sure there's a bunch of others I could spend a long time thinking about it, but yeah, those are some examples that I think
No,
could
they're
potentially
valuable.
be good. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And then that's what ties into the copy as well. So you want to use the intent-based data we have to tie into the copy, right? So the copy, I usually break it down into 4 steps. This is pretty much how I write every campaign. The first bit is basically just intro plus
Yeah.
relevancy. So, hi, this is the reason I'm reaching out. Hey, notice you're engaging with XYZ's posts on property in the UK. Thought I'd reach out and then two, offer, as I have an interesting investment opportunity that is looking for these returns. Include a little bit more detail about the offer, but that offer I usually go is very much outcome orientated.
Yeah.
Similar way, I would imagine how you script your ads. People are interested in the dream outcome, the likelihood of actually
Yeah.
achieving that outcome, etc. Um, the way I would usually do this is more service based. I'm not sure if I'd use exactly the same script for investment basis, but it's basically like if we could help you achieve outcome. So if we could outcome
Yeah.
in time frame
Yeah. Well,
without pain.
in this world, Harry, it'd just be a case of like if we could find you your next property investment that produce you an 18% return in as little as
Yeah,
90 days, like
perfect.
most people, and if they invest in off plan as well, the hook there would be that it's fee free
Nice, nice.
representation. Like I don't have to like my commission's negotiated with the developer. They don't have to pay a thing for my services. So
Amazing.
it is a strong pull. Like I said,
Yeah,
the biggest thing I've struggled with is just getting in front. And to be honest, dude, I've not used my personal brand um
yeah,
like half as much as I should. So it's my own fault.
yeah.
But like
Lean
this
into that
stuff
as much as
is
you can, for sure.
yeah, no, well that's obviously
Yeah,
what's got me on a consult with you and
yeah.
I didn't know nothing about you 3 days before. So
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. But yeah, definitely I think your audience, followers, connections, this is always the best place to start. Like it's the lowest
yeah,
hanging fruit, highest propensity to convert. So I would always start with that. And then
yeah,
obviously you can scale into cold audiences as well if you need to. But yeah,
yeah,
this is the way I map it out. Offer soft CTA, very, very soft CTA. Like if you go too aggressively and try and get people to book in a call from the first email, you can get way less
yeah,
people respond. So it's always like, would you mind if I send you over more information, or would you be interested in seeing how we do this, or would you be interested in seeing more? And
yeah,
then the thing you mentioned about the fee, I think was really good. I would typically add that in something like a PS line. So I usually do
yeah,
a really short, punchy PS line just to add extra value. Like PS, this isn't like typical investments as there's no fees involved or something like this. Or PS, our last round of, our last project raised XYZ with these returns, or, some
yeah.
basically extra value social proof that you could include in there as well.
So this is the 4 step process in email one. So first line, for
Yes.
example, would be intro. Okay, yeah, perfect. And
Yeah.
then what's the like do you have like a templatized like um template or framework that's proven successful for you in terms of like email one, wait 2 days, email two, wait
Yeah.
whatever or
So I would usually go with a 3-step framework.
okay.
and I would have 2 to 3 days wait in between email 1 and 2, and 3 to 4 days wait in between email 2 and 3.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
reason I don't follow up more than this is because with cold email, if you're going after a big market, which it sounds like you have a very large total addressable market here of, potentially high net worth investors. Um, if you have, say, 10 email accounts, you have capacity to send 300 emails per day. This is just 300 emails per day. So that could
Yeah.
either be 300 emails to new people or 100 emails to or 3 emails to 100 people, if that makes sense. So like basically the more follow-up we do, the less
Oh, okay.
net new contacts we can reach out to.
Yeah.
Follow-ups are
Okay. Yeah.
important, of course, because of the timing, etc. But I found the right balance to be a two-step sequence.
Okay. So you after that email three, are you then determining that lead as like as dead, as not a good fit, or
So what we would do is 2 to 3 months later, we would recycle this lead with a new angle.
okay?
So
Could you
we know,
would you ever recommend if you was to consult me in for like would you ever condense that to 2 3 months or 4 to 8 weeks or whatever, or would you always do 2 to 3 months?
you could, yeah, you could absolutely condense it down to 4 weeks. Like, to be honest, I don't remember the cold emails I got even yesterday. This is
Yeah.
what it's all based on. You know what I mean? So it could be 2 to 4 weeks. The ideal is around 2 to 3 months though, because there's only so many times you can actually do that before they do start to clock
Yeah.
on. They know your name, and then just very unreceptive to anything in the future.
And if I wanted to, could I put a manual process in here? Like, for example, I mean, obviously this is going to be quite, there's a lot of volume here, but if I had the capacity for whatever reason, could I put a manual process like call this lead just to try and get them on the phone then,
Yeah, of
or like,
course. Yeah, what you
because
could do is, yeah,
to me, like in property, like an investor could be worth, as little as a 5K one-off fee to like if they've got access to capital and they want to start investing in off plan and my commission's negotiated with the developer, it's and they do 3 deals in 3 years, that can be like 100K worth of fees.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I think it's important
So
to build a relationship. Um, so what I would potentially do is like, let's say after you've emailed all 3 emails and they don't respond, you could get an autumn like when instantly marks this lead as completed. So if I
yeah,
go to my campaigns, go into leads, right, it will have status, not yet contacted, contacted, completed. So
yeah,
this lead, I've emailed all of the emails I've sent to them, like it's completed the sequence, and they haven't responded. At this stage,
yeah,
I could get the fact that it's completed to trigger an automation to send me a notification where I
yeah,
would call them. Like, I could just ping me on Slack, for example.
yeah.
Oof.
Just a quick one, dude. This meeting says it's got less than
Yeah,
a minute. Do
my apologies. I'm using my wrong
No,
email
it's
account
okay.
today. So I'll send you a new link on school if that works.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'll check now.
Yeah. Okay, bro. Cheers.
No problem, dude.
You don't really need to know it, like we can completely automate it, but basically you can
Okay.
create an automation. So it's like when lead is marked as completed, you can do that
Yeah,
within Zapier, make an in, for example, send a
yeah,
Slack notification to sales team or to yourself,
yeah.
call this lead up.
Are you what CRM are you using? Are you using any CRM for like to manage?
Yeah. So we use Close
Yeah, wicked,
CRM.
perfect. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
wicked. Yeah,
So these all talk to each other very, very
yeah.
nicely. So instantly you can push it straight into Close, create a task on Close, call this lead, and then obviously mark it completed when
Nice,
done in there. Yeah.
wicked. Yeah, I'll build a beast. Love
So
close.
yeah, Close is sick. I really like Close. It's the best CRM
Yeah.
that I've used. Um, awesome. So yeah, that's does this all sort of going a bit all over the place and mapped it all out, but
No, no, no.
I guess these are the fundamentals around it without going too much into the technical aspects of each of it.
And what's the warm up process? Can these subdomains that we use do they have to go through a warm up process or do they just
Yeah.
like go? Oh, okay.
So with all email accounts, you actually have two options in Instantly. I'll show you.
Yep.
You can use accounts that are ready to use straight away, pre-warmed accounts. These only launch every month, I want to say,
Okay.
and they have about 500. The problem with this is you don't get to pick the name at all. Like you have to use one of these. What this is Instantly have basically bought these domains and warmed them up on their side and then
Right.
just resold them. They're about 2 to 3 times more expensive than the normal way of doing it, but the advantage is you get to use it straight away. I personally always
Right.
just go for the done for you setup.
Yeah.
I've noticed with these ones as well, the deliverability is not very good for the pre-warmed accounts, in my opinion. Like
Right.
the sending, they use a getting a bit more technical in the cold email sense. They use like sending pools. So they use IP addresses that they send emails from. When
Right.
you're on a
Okay.
specific server, your server is dedicated to an IP. If you have a bunch of spam senders on that IP address, the whole server basically goes bad.
Right. Okay.
Right. So you
Okay.
have a bunch of people sending. Typically, I imagine the people wanting pre-warmed accounts is they just want to start firing off high volume of emails straight away. Typically, I think these people maybe aren't the most advanced with cold email, in my opinion. It's because
Okay.
it's way more expensive way to do it. It's generally not the best option. So you have a bunch of people firing off loads of emails. Emails are probably not getting many replies. It starts to ruin the server a little bit. And this is what we've noticed using these accounts is that over the course of maybe 3, 4 weeks, you start to get way less replies from these emails. And I think it's because the servers start to basically go bad.
Yeah.
So I would
Yeah.
recommend just going for the done for you setup. That requires a 14-day warm-up
Okay.
process. The warm-up settings are literally just all default. So what happens is as you purchase these email accounts, they will literally just
Yeah.
appear here. For example, I think these are some ones. I'm just trying to find the ones that I actually purchased a while ago. I think these are all new ones. I just purchased like 500 more yesterday. Cool. This one, for example.
Yeah.
And you can see
Okay.
health score, like all 100%. The warm-up settings are literally all default. I send increase per day. So it starts at one email, one
Yeah.
warm-up email, then day two is two, day three is three, up to 10. And then
Yeah.
these have a 30% reply rate. So what warm-up is, you don't really need to know this, but it's just email accounts talking to other email accounts using AI,
Yeah.
and it makes it mimic human conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
they
used
just need
Lemwarm
14
before
days.
and got that up, and it like gave me an insight as to how it works, but I just weren't sure if like with these things. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So you
straightforward. So
just
after
need
14 days, you wait for that to be there, and then obviously you can get your lead list, and then you're good to go. And
exactly.
are you just using Claude to kind of like obviously you'll come up with your own copy, but then are you using Claude to like perfect that copy and get some feedback on it and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I use Claude, honestly, it probably most of the time even create the idea in the first place, like the
Yeah.
intent-based thing, then build it in Clay. And what you can do is actually typically in Clay as well, what I'll do is in Clay, it has a bunch of things called enrichments, right? Enrichments is just extra stuff that Clay will do for you. And what you
Okay.
can do in Clay is just input, let's say, the name of the contact, input the
Yeah.
website of the contact, and any information you have on them, whether they're attending an event or whether they've received funding, whether they're hiring, whatever it might be. These will appear as columns in Clay. Then you put those columns into an extra enrichment, and you just say, I would typically generally just put all of this information into Claude and say, write me a personalized first line or write me a personalized email to this
Yeah.
contact
Nice.
based off this information. And then
Yeah.
AI will create the whole thing.
How's Clay is Clay getting the data from, for example, Dave um registered their attendance to like a LinkedIn event, or they've confirmed something on LinkedIn, or does Clay have anything to do with the likes of Eventbrite or anything? Can it get data from stuff like
I
that or not?
I don't know if it has specific data to get from Eventbrite. I know Clay can
Okay.
scrape web pages. So you could give it
Okay.
an Eventbrite web page and it could scrape it. You could also scrape it yourself first and then put it into Clay to enrich it.
Okay.
But what Clay really is it's just like a massive spreadsheet that has a bunch of integrations into other tools. Clay itself
Right.
do have some good native tools, but most of it is just using other databases. So like the way it will find email addresses is it will use Apollo to try and find an email. If it doesn't find it there, then it will use another database. If it doesn't find it there, then it will use another database and so on. And they call that
Yeah.
waterfall enrichment, right? That's the way it works. But Clay will usually be going off LinkedIn data if you're getting data
Yeah.
specifically from Clay, as most of the databases do. But there's specific things you can do, like you can get it to scrape specific web pages. You can also scrape those web pages yourself and put them into Clay. Uh, so you should be able to do that.
Okay. Nice. Are you using any of your campaigns? Are you ever sending people to the likes of like your school community, like, or like is
I
that something
will
you've ever?
in the follow-ups or when I receive a response. So one of the important things to note about the copy is the first email. Never send any links or attachments in this.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
links, no
Are you
attachments.
and are you using any so like on my property investment one like um super quick if I just share
Yeah, yeah.
with you now like